Amway doing that makes it grow? Well, you know what we're doing. We're sharing an opportunity with people. We're giving to people a chance to build a business for their own, many of whom who've kind of thrown in the sponge, haven't they?
Rich and I have always known it is our responsibility to put together every part of the Amway opportunity in such a way that the business of each and every distributor will last not only for his lifetime, but for that of his children.
That's what Amway's really all about. The goal of Amway is and has always been to see how many people we could reach and how many people we could help.
Oh, what a thrilling age. Thank God for times like these. Never has there been as much to conquer and achieve.
I can't think of another group of people who are more dedicated to their dreams. You're all shining examples of reaching beyond horizons.
You know, the temptation in looking at an organization is to look at its physical things, but it's people that make the business go. It's people helping people help themselves that is the heart of the Amway business.
Sorry.
Vision is essential for leadership. But vision without the persistence to make dreams come true is like a ship without a sail.
A great tradition can be inherited, but greatness by itself must be won by each of us.
You are leaders. And as leaders, you have much greater responsibilities than just to yourselves.
When you come with Amway, you come with a winner. And you're moving with a company that's strong.
We at ADA are determined to keep Amway growing. We're just as determined that Amway will always be your best choice.
In this business, all I'm saying to you, if you expect to lead people, then you better have traveled the road.
What I really wanted to do was tell a story. A story about the potential of every person who was fortunate enough to live in freedom, who was willing to work hard, who is not afraid of failure, who allows God to guide him, and who is humble enough to accept a helping hand.
Integrity, whether it's for an individual, a country, or an organization, is that basic thing upon which we will rise or fall, specifically in the Amway business.
To live where one wishes to live, to support the causes one believes in, to explore the full and exciting range of one's potential. Not many people ever experience that kind of freedom. It's a rare, uncommon freedom which must be won, must be earned. We still have dreams. There's more work to be done, more people to see, more products to make. But most of all, there's this business opportunity called Amway.
Once upon a time, in Ada, Michigan, we had an idea that we believed that people wanted to work if there were proper rewards. So today, the Amway plan works magnificently well. The rewards will be in how you impact their life and how they go out with a whole new attitude about who they are and their sense of worth. That's one of the greatest things you do, and that's one of the greatest rewards you'll ever get.
We're so proud of you all and so grateful for you. We give credit and honor to you You've earned it. You are Amway, and we love you for it.
There you go, and good evening, everybody. I hope you enjoyed that. That's what we're going to talk about tonight. Amway. I don't know if there are any newer people here, but maybe most people know what we're going to talk about. But it's an incredible business opportunity, and we think basically it's the only game in town. Right? But obviously, you know, you don't just register into a business and just, you know, suddenly Amway starts to send you money. You know, it's a proper business that has to be tackled in a professional way. But one of the great advantages of it is that it can be done part-time, whereas most businesses, online or offline, you're pretty much in a full-time occupation. So we're going to run through what we call the 10 points of success, which is basically the activities that we need to build a successful business. And I think as we go through them, you'll realize that there's nothing there that any of us here can't do. Everything is quite understandable, achievable, and very, very important, duplicatable. So just going to start off with a quick PowerPoint just to run through some things, and going to share the screen again. Hopefully my things are still there. No, sorry, just got to get that off. Oops. Where will that go? We've got to get that off. Just a minute. So I've got to get that off. Okay, that's blocking it. Okay. There we go. I'll get that off. Excuse me, just a tick. Go away. Good. Okay. All right. So that's not the one I want. Okay. So I've got. So that's what it. That's it. Okay, so here are our 10 points, right? And I don't think it's anything unusual here. Everybody knows that you've got to find a reason to build the business. We call this our dream, obviously. And then the second thing is we have to make complete brand change, use all the products. We have to make a list of prospects. We have to learn how to make appointments. We have to show the plan and then do product demonstrations. We have to follow up and then follow through and develop leaders in depth, become a student of the business, communicate regularly with your active upline business partner, and finally make a commitment. So hopefully we'll be able to get through all those tonight. We'll race through a little bit, but the most important thing is why we would build the business in the first place. This is where we will start off, isn't it? And start off with the marketing plan and so forth. So why do we need dreams and goals in the first place? Well, basically, Aristotle said, you only feel truly happy when you're working towards something you want. So you see, it's a matter of being happy. It's not necessarily a matter of making money. It's a feeling of satisfaction and a rewarding feeling. And somebody else, sorry, this is blocking this just a little bit. So somebody else, Gonzalez, quite famous author, he said, the greatest human need is a sense of meaning and a purpose in life, right? So one reason, basically, I think that there's a lot of depression around the world. People are taking antidepressants, you know, and people are self-harming and things like that. They don't seem to have a sense of meaning. They don't have a purpose. And this is why we must talk about the business and give them some hope for the future. So how do we achieve these dreams and goals? Well, many of us have read Napoleon Hill's book, and there's a quotation in there, and whatever the mind of man can conceive, it can achieve. Now, I can't ask you to reply to me, but I wonder if you think that quotation is correct. Actually, it's not quite correct. This is the full quotation. Whatever the mind of man can conceive and believe, it can achieve. So we must believe it. So for example, I can conceive of me running a 4-minute mile, but I don't really believe it. Right? And so the belief is a very important aspect of this. Okay. Excuse me. So here's a quotation from Michael Johnson, right? World champion. He won the 200 and 400 meters at the Olympics. And he says, as strong as my legs are, it is my mind that has made me a champion. Right? And so we have to change our mindset. And the way we do that is clearly defining why we'd be in the business. We write it down, what we wish from the business and precisely when. We create mental pictures of the things that excite us. So we have a dream board. We cut out pictures from magazines and stick them on the wall, stick them on the fridge, look at them every day. And then we have short-term, medium-term, long-term dreams and goals. Short-term, 6 months to a year, maybe that's something you haven't got, maybe not very expensive, but you haven't got it and you want it. It might be some new curtains, might be new carpet, might be a new steam iron, could be, some new light chandelier or something. But, just every time you write these down, every time you tick these off because you've got an Amway business, you feel better about going on to the future. Medium term, 1 to 5 years, that's more about buying a nice car and so forth. Long-term goals and dreams, there you should have something which really stretches your imagination. All right. And then we create a precise plan of action, targets, timetables, daily, weekly, monthly, annual. And here we are, whatever the mind of man can deceive and believe it can achieve. And this is a quotation at the bottom here from Rich DeVos. I believe that one of the most powerful forces in the world is the will of a man who believes in himself, dares to aim high and confidently goes after the things he wants from life. I can is a powerful sentence. The gap between what a man thinks he can achieve and what is actually possible for him is very, very small, but first he must believe. And there is a terrific book that he wrote, the first book he wrote, probably Rich, called Believe, which I urge everybody to get hold of if you can. It's not in print, but you can get off the internet. Now, this is an actual survey done of Harvard University graduates. Now, if you go to Harvard University, obviously you have a big target. All right, you're focused. You've got to pass exams. You've got deadlines. All these sorts of. So these are, very, very capable people who actually go to Harvard. But they surveyed a lot of students 10 years after those students had left Harvard, and they found that 3% were very rich, which we could say they go on the Queen Elizabeth or a cruise anytime, just snap their fingers. 10% were quite rich. They could go on the Queen Elizabeth once in their lifetime. And then 60% were average, middle class, and 27% actually needed financial help. So what was the difference between all these 4 categories? Firstly, these people here in the top 10% here, they had set goals with deadlines. Then these people here, middle class, hadn't set and the people who needed help hadn't set goals with deadlines. But then the next thing is, what's the difference between the 3% and the 10%? Well, the 3% had written it down and the 10% hadn't written it down. That's the difference. And they found that the 3% of the graduates from their MBA, so they know about business, who had their goals written down, ended up earning 10 times as much as the other 97 put together, just 10 years after graduation. So this is a very, very serious matter. So do whatever you do, write it down and visualize what you want and where you want to go. Okay, so we're going to come back to us now, and we're just going to talk through the other things, the other aspects. Okay, so we talked about dreams, goals, and so forth, and got to get back to Mauricio and your uplines and so forth to finalize those. But the second thing is make a brand change. All right, there isn't anybody, is there, who goes 21% who isn't 100% user. All right, absolutely. So important actually for that, you to be excited about the products. I've heard people say, well, I'm not that excited about the products, I'm excited about the business model. But if you're not excited about the products yourself, then you won't certainly maximize the potential from the business model. And Amway products are actually so very, very good, you will get lifelong brand loyalty. And loyalty is what every manufacturer wants. On the internet, they call it retention. But we have got retention. People use products for decades and then pass that loyalty on to children as well. And also, you start with as many products as possible. All right. For example, as Nako always explains, if you were going to open a supermarket, you wouldn't just start with bananas, but and some fruit, and then eliminate oranges because you don't like oranges. You start with everything. All right. So you don't necessarily obviously have to spend a lot of money getting everything in. That would be a lot of money, but over a period of time, you've got to replace everything in your house that you can with, it's not an Amway product, with an Amway product, and that includes the high-tech products, the e-string and the cookware as well. And one little secret, it does make a difference to everybody's business, is when you have a new product, you actually order on launch day, on the very first day, on the first, so then everybody knows exactly or has got a fairly good idea of what their points will be later in the month. So the second thing is making a contact list, contacting people. There's still there's a lot of activity obviously going on with Instagram, Facebook and so forth, developing relationships, joining up groups and so forth. But we still feel ourselves, and you must double check this with your with Mauricio and Jason and so forth, because they may be doing something, you know, which is a little bit different, and you must follow what they're doing. But at the end of the day, in order to make a list, the first list really could well be in somebody's mobile phone, because in the mobile phone we've got 100, 200 people probably, and you have some sort of relationship with them. At least you know who they are, they know who you are. It may not be very strong, tenuous, but nevertheless you've got some sort of relationship and some sort of reason to contact them. And you can either phone them obviously, or you can send out a mass text or something. Just talk to your active sponsor or active upline ABO about how you should actually handle that. We won't go into this too much because there's so many different ways these days of contacting people. But sometimes people say to us, I don't want to hassle my friends. I don't want to talk to my friends. I don't like that idea at all. All right. And because imagine, for example, you had you were a good sportsman and you opened up a sports shop, and you were good at tennis, for example, and one of your auntie came in, and your auntie came in with little Johnny and says, look, he's very interested in playing tennis. I don't know too much about it. I wonder if you could recommend for us a racket for him, and the right size, right weight for him as his age, and, you know, give him a little bit of advice and say, no, I couldn't possibly do that. You're my auntie, I'm related to you. But there's a very good sports shop down the road. They're very good, they'll help you. You wouldn't do that. She's come to you because she trusts you, and she values your opinion, and you're very happy to do it because, you know, it's family. So if you really, really believe that what you're doing is of value to somebody else, very often you're talking to someone with whom you have a relationship, you do nothing to jeopardize, then it's a very natural thing. The only reason that people sometimes say, I don't hassle my friends, is because they are hassling, right? They're hassling people. They're not doing it for them. They're doing it for themselves because they want to sell products. And that doesn't work not only with your friends and relatives, it doesn't work with strangers either. So, you know, that contact list is something which is, you can start off with our mobile phone, which is what we do, what we recommend, but also you build up a relationship over a period of time, don't you, on the internet, online and so forth, right? We can still talk to people in the street, not necessarily cold calling, so to speak, but people we meet on our everyday activities. That's happening all the time with estate agents, somebody at the petrol station, somebody in a supermarket. It's very easy to get some sort of conversation. But one thing is, you know, if you've got your business card, make sure you exchange details. right? Don't just give somebody a business card and then say, well, give us a ring or something, because they never will. But of course, these days, people like me, we still exchange business cards. People like a lot of you, you're banging each other's phones together and exchanging addresses and things just like that. So, make sure you get somebody's details before you leave them. Don't expect them to give you a ring, right? And then making an appointment. Now, it's always a good, even today, many of it's more effective, isn't it, to sponsor, to show a plan to a couple. The husband and the wife, the male and the female, will see different things in the business. Very often, the wife will be more interested in the products, the husband will be more interested in the business, but you put it together, right? And they see all aspects of how these sorts of products can make a network work. Very important when you're making appointments that you have good posture. The posture is that you've got the cookie and they haven't. You're offering something to them. Okay, so when you try and make an appointment, then obviously you can talk to them. The idea obviously is to find out something that the cost of living right now. The cost of living crisis is a big thing. People looking for extra money. So that's a very good way to start a conversation. And then as the conversation builds up, you say, well, I can't help you. I can't promise anything, but my wife and I, we've got an online health and beauty business, and it's doing really well. It's certainly helping out with our monthly budget and our finances. Would you be interested in taking a look? So, if they say yes, make an appointment. If they say, well, what is it? Tell me more. Then the only answer basically is, well, look, I can't talk right now. I've just got to go and pick up my wife from the station. And anyway, I don't want to confuse you. I don't want you to get the wrong idea. So let's have a chat. Let's meet in Starbucks, or let's do a Zoom, which is the way most people operate these days, and make an appointment like that. And if they really insist, they say, well, if you're not going to tell me anymore, I'm not very interested. So, okay, fair enough. But, can I give you a ring in 6 months' time? Maybe, things will have changed a little bit. And usually they'll say yes, but you got the cookie, you got the posture. So, stand firm, right? And don't answer questions on the phone. If they say, for example, when we're making appointments, they say, well, is it like Amway? Is it Amway? The only answer to that is yes. Right, and you say, but then you follow up there. Have you ever used the products? Right? Have you ever used the products? And you start to make a conversation with them and draw them out. And they may have a good impression. They may have had. It'll all be hearsay, right? But the more and more you talk to them, and you say, well, this, that, and the other, the more you draw them out, you'll find they really don't know anything about Amway. It's all hearsay. It happened to a friend of a friend, at the end of the day, you say, well, if somebody had said that to me, or that happened to me, I'd feel exactly the same way. But, it's not like that at all. Please look at what we're doing. It's really, really exciting. You can say, a good expression is a whole new ball game now. I mean, online shopping, just taking off. And that's what we've got, an online business. You're looking for an online business, work from home. You can be digital nomad, and so there's various ways around this. And your active upline and active ABO in your platinum will have all sorts of advice about this sort of aspect. So obviously, making a list, finding prospects, and making appointments. Now it has always been sophisticated activity, but now with the internet and so forth, the possibilities and the numbers of people you can access is absolutely just incredible. So we show the plan, right? And I would suppose the vast majority of people today will show the plan online. It's still best to meet personally, but if you do it online, but the principles I think are the same, right? So you're showing the plan, and first off, make sure you start off finding out what their time frame is. Have you got 30, 35, 45 minutes to talk, and then be strict about the time that you're taking up the time. Because if they think later on, oh, that's when I talk to them, and just go on and on and on and on, right? So fix the times, ask them how much time they've got, clarify in the beginning actually how many you need to tell them that you need 30, 45 minutes. Right? If they're really interested, it will go on for an hour and a half. All right. The marketing plan actually has several purposes. We will always ourselves, and you check this upline, but we will ourselves always make sure we do a demonstration, some sort of demonstration with the marketing plan. Because if somebody just sees a demonstration, then could be SA8 or LOC or dish drops or whatever it may be, or maybe some sort of artistry skincare, then they'll think, oh, well, it's housewives' pocket money, and it's all right for them, but maybe my wife can do it. But then if you only see the network, the business model with the calculations, all that sort of thing, which confuse people, although however simple they are, then they'll think, oh, okay, it's okay for somebody else, but I couldn't do that. But if they're business oriented or entrepreneurial at all, you put the plan and the products together, then a light goes on in their head. I've seen it many times. We've seen it many times. A light goes on in their head, and they think, yes, with that sort of product, this sort of business can work. And so the products, you see, they think possibly you're trying to sell them a product, but you're not actually. You're interviewing them, right? Because it doesn't matter so much if they say no or they don't sign up immediately, right? You're not. It'd be nice if they bought the product, but you're not really trying to sell them a product so much as find out what's up here. You want to find up here what their mindset is, if they're entrepreneurial, if they care. This is a very important thing. Amway people are people who care. All right. So if, for example, let's say you do a dish drops demonstration. You've got the dish drops, one lady bought dish drops, you explain about the environmentally friendly nature of it. And then you've got the squeeze bottle, right? And you explain and you do a little demonstration on the mirror, however you do a demonstration on spoons and so forth, ask your upline about that. Okay. And then they say, well, no, I couldn't be bothered, really. I've been using my Fairy Liquid all these years. It's okay for me. I couldn't be bothered to dilute it, right? That is a very good indication that actually don't really care. Don't care about giving the best, their family having the best. They don't care about the environment, can't be bothered, if somebody sees a demonstration and say, yeah, I'd really like to try something like that, especially 100% money back guarantee, we can't lose, right? So it's an interview as much as a sales present, or more than a sales presentation, right? So where would you do a demonstration? Well, this is point 5 of our 10 points, showing the plan. Where would you do the demonstration? Well, we personally would do it towards the end, right? After 20%, 1% after going, platinum and so forth, and then say if they're interested, move on to emerald and diamond. But that's a personal thing. Talk to your upline about that. Now, then the final point I want to make about a sales and marketing plan is we start off finding out why they would be sitting down looking at a business presentation or business opportunity. All right. So, but you have to keep them engaged emotionally. You have to appeal to them emotionally, not necessarily logically. Right? If it was logical, everybody in the world would be using the Amway product, whether they're not interested in the business or not. Right? But so you start off by asking them to identify something, that they're looking for, something that they change. They say, oh, I'd love to send my children to a private school. Okay. So you've identified that, go through up to 21%, and please, this is what we do. You don't necessarily have to do this. You check all this upline, right? Go through 21%. When you get 21%, 2,500 a month, maybe 3,000 even. What would you do if you had an extra couple of thousand a month this month? What would you do with it? And you bring them back emotionally, because you might just have lost them through the figures, right? And then they talk, I do this, that, and the other. And how about next month? Oh, next month, well, yeah, I'd pay off pay off a credit card, and because it keeps coming in, you see. So each month, so bring them back emotionally, and then right at the end, you've shown the plan, done the demonstration. Right at the end, you can say, can you see how an Amway business, with our help, can help you get those kids into that private school. So you've brought them back in. So you've engaged them emotionally, even though they may not have followed the whole presentation. So those 3 places where you engage them emotionally. Now, so that's not, excuse me. So after the plan, follow up. Well, it's important to get back to them, isn't it? 24, 36 hours. Because they'll be excited, hopefully, but then it goes down. Maybe they've spoken to somebody who's pulled them down a little bit. Sorry, I've gone the wrong view, is it? I have to do full screen, sorry. Yeah. Who might have pulled them down or whatever. Motivation goes up and down. Can be a little bit like a yo-yo. All right. Okay. So you ring them up or get in touch with them somehow or other. And just try and say, have you got, I hope you seem to find it interesting, presentation. Have you got any particular questions? And you just have to field all the questions and so forth. And hopefully they'll be excited, and you can say, well, let's get together and we'll run through how we get started, how we get you started. If they say, which they often say, well, I'll think about it. They may say that at the end of the marketing plan. They might say, I'll think about it. So, well, look, those demonstrations I did the demonstration, I did a plan. While you're thinking about it, why don't you use those products? See, whether you get on with them. Okay, I'm putting in an order tomorrow. Can I put in those products for you? Right? You may not be making an order tomorrow, mate. Right? But you just tell them, I'm making an order tomorrow. Can I put those products in for you? Right? And try and get them to start using the products. And then, they can use it's just so flexible. You have just have to deal with the situation as it arises. If they have a flat no, we say, look, I think you'll appreciate it's a very good opportunity for someone. Can you give us any referral? And I know Mauricio and Diana are wizards at getting referrals and then following up the referrals and so forth, So, they may be excited, or they use the products as a retail customer, or they could be a user member. They can become an ABO and they get 20% off. It's free to register. So, it makes a lot of sense just to become a user member, right? And then, of course, somebody who's interested in getting started. So after that, right, after the plan, then you've got this, that's a follow-up, right? Follow-up, but now you've got follow through. And follow up is the next 24, 36 hours. Follow through is a long term, and there's no time limit. And you develop means of communication with them, keep chatting to them, make sure that they know where meetings are going on and so forth. But one of the main steps for this, from our point of view, right? Check all this upline. Right? One of the main steps is over the next 3-4 weeks, you demonstrate all the products. Right, all the ranges, and say you have an hours meeting, right? Then you can have 30 minutes on the business, 30 minutes products, right? So, for example, your home care, laundry care, and then with demonstrations followed up by guiding them around the website and looking at LOS maps and OMA Academy and all those sorts of things, and making sure they understand about various discounts, You could do food supplements, you could do Nutrilite for 30 minutes and then run through the plan again, or show them how to make a list, or start to make some scripts, if you like, or scripts to send out as text on their mobile phone, whatever it may be. 30 minutes products, 30 minutes plan. Yeah.
Talk about their dream.
And talk about their dream. Yeah, never let that go. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So that can take 3, 4, 5 weeks, but they should see complete demonstrations of every single product, or explanations if they're not demonstrations, especially, I say, eSpring and a cooking demonstration. A cooking demonstration, I think, is really important, because people don't really seem to realize it looks like the cookware look quite when I first saw those, I thought, oh gosh, expensive cookware. All right, but they're not. They are very economical compared to anything else in the market. The food is different, the nutritional content is different, and of all Amway's products, and they're designed to be economical, it's iCook that will save you and everybody the most money over the years, over the decades, and they've got a 30-year guarantee. Pay for itself in 1 to 2 years, absolutely. Okay, and so then with follow-up or follow through, you got to help them understand what it is to be an active ABO. All right, so there's unwritten rules. You can't make anybody do anything, right? As soon as you get an element of coercion, then you know they will back off, right? But you have to develop a structure. You have to build depth. You have to build depth based upon now, because of Core Plus, as we call it, on basically three groups, right? So you want a minimum of 3 9% groups. So you show them how to do that, help them do it, make sure that every single month they have a certain amount of personal PV. That's it. They order something every month. That's the deal. It's an unwritten rule. You can't make them do it. If they're serious, that's what they do. It might be 1, 2, 3 groups. Some teach, 200 a month, some 300 a month. Check up line. All right, and try and encourage them to show the plan with your help. And at the beginning, they can't show the plan, so you can show the plan for them or with them. All right, but they need to be sponsoring people. That's the only way you get momentum. So what we recommend is sponsor 20 people wide. Just go bang, 20 people wide, right? Of those, some will quit, some will do a bit more, some of this, but 3 probably will be serious. And those 3s you can work with, and you've got to work down in depth, right? And there is a worldwide average. I don't know, it doesn't really matter what the figure is, it's just the principle. They've always said, if you dig down 7, right, you'll find a platinum, right? Now, in Japan, we've got a Ruby who's 18 in depth. And probably other people as well who dropped out between us, and then there's 18 people who just use the products, you know, but you never know what's around the corner. And that's the concept of depth. So it's not just building depth, it's building leaders in depth. They have to develop leadership in depth, and the leaders are people who are active ABOs who actually ordering a certain number of products every single month. They're sponsoring people, they're attending the info nights, meetings like this, and they're communicating, have very close relationship communication with their upline, with sponsor. So after follow up and follow through, then we come to becoming, this is 9, becoming a student of the business. All right, and so Amway business owners have to have a certain amount of humility, right? Because sometimes they come into the business and they've got other experience outside in business. Maybe they've been quite successful in business, and they don't necessarily like to sit down with somebody who's younger. Sometimes younger people don't like to sit down with somebody who's older or more successful, less successful, wealthier, or whatever, or higher education, or they think, you know, I've got a better education than him. The point is, we have to have a certain amount of humility and sit down with somebody and be guided and mentored by somebody who is where we want to be. The mentoring system that there is in the UK, in an Amway organization, is absolutely invaluable. It's vital, and really it is the culmination, if you like, of decades of wisdom that's been passed down and handed to us completely free, right? And you know, a lot of the sort of money being made on the internet is teaching courses, all right, how to do this, how to do that, and so forth, and subscriptions to courses, but they can be very expensive, and the Amway Academy is completely free, and each organization has got its own tapes, recommended books, and so forth, and sometimes there's a charge. Obviously, there's no reason that an organization could make a loss on anything, but whatever the charge is, it's nominal to cover costs, not to make a profit out of an educational system. So the educational system, for example, meetings, right? The great power of the Amway business is people. It's a people business, and therefore our opinion is, once again, check all this, our opinion is that the most successful businesses online are not purely online businesses. I don't believe that they have loyalty. I don't believe they have sustainability. You're always finding new customers, following trends, right? All the time, all right? But the most successful businesses, I believe, on the internet are offline businesses with a very powerful online presence, like us, right? Like Amway, not just purely online businesses where sometimes people get together, maybe, you know, offline. It's the other way around. It's an offline business with facilities, with staff, with research and development facilities, with a powerful online presence, because you'll never be able to substitute the power or the effect or influence of a personal relationship. And in Amway Business, you make friends for life, right? And you know, we've got, for example, and we're no great shakes, so trust me, you know, we've got people in our business who have been ordering products from us in Japan, right, for 30 years, right? We know them by name. We talk to them when we get back, but 30 years. Now you have an online business and you get all the best, you know, a social media company working for you. They will never create the retention or the loyalty that now my product has, because you've got to follow trends. And, you know, I was looking the other day, I was doing a bit of research myself. A little while ago, the big trend was fidget spinners. You know, you just to relax your stress, you're getting things in your fingers. They're called fidget spinners, big hit. But people don't buy them now. Now they're buying electric bicycles. In 2 or 3 years, there'll be another big trend, right? But you're always trapped by trends, but you have to follow the trend. You have to source the product. And these social media companies, they don't source the product, right? They just manipulate the internet. So an Amway business, or a business like Amway, for example, does everything. They just take all the worry out of it. All we have to do is use the products and tell a few people. Duplicate it, use the product, tell a few people. And you know, there's a couple of buzzwords on the internet. I'm going to wind up in a minute. A couple of buzzwords on the internet, right? One is scalability, if you ever heard it, right? But that means making your business bigger by finding more retail customers. Nothing wrong with that, make money, but there's no sustainability. The point about the Amway business is not the scalability, but the duplicatability. So we have a simple business. We don't need, it's a good idea to have a lot of customers, you make a lot of money, but you don't need a lot of customers. You need a sound online business with a few customers that anybody can duplicate. And when you've got that, the sky is the limit. Anybody can duplicate it. The numbers of people, ABOs you can have in your business is infinite, and therefore your income is literally infinite. And then the second buzzword is passive income. And they do not understand what a passive income is, okay? All right, because a passive, they will say, if people make good money out of what's something called affiliate marketing, I won't go into it, right? But they wake up in the morning and there's some money in their bank and they go, oh, passive income. That's not passive income, that is a temporary sales commission. A passive income is what Michael Jackson had. Michael Jackson, right, when he was 50 years old and passed away, he was earning from royalties that he, from performances he did when he was 8 years old. And now he's passed on all that money from when he was 8 years old going to his estate. That's a passive income, lasts forever. Amway business is a passive income, lasts forever. And finally, we're going to just talk about communication and commitment and wind up with a quick PowerPoint again, okay? But communication with your upline is absolutely very, very important. They did a survey many, many years ago now, and Amway contacted as many people as they could who quit Amway. And the major answer, the predominant reply was, I quit because I didn't get on with my outline. Which is really, it wasn't the products weren't any good, products were expensive or something like that. I didn't get on with my outline. So this is why we have this educational system, the personal development, where we learn to work with all sorts of people that we wouldn't necessarily come across in a normal way of life. Okay, and so finally, we just want to talk about commitment. All right, and commitment is the key. You've got, basically, we talk about the sandwich, the Amway sandwich, right? You've got the dream, and at the end, you've got the commitment, right? And these are two things which are up here, okay? In between that, you've got all the practical stuff, making a list, showing the plan, following up, doing meetings, blah, 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 right? So imagine a sandwich, right? So you've got a sandwich, right? And you've got the bread here and the bread here, and then you've got the bacon and lettuce and whatever, bacon, lettuce, tomato, right? And you take away the bread. What happens to a sandwich? All over the place, right? But if you take away this middle bit, but you leave the bread, you've still got something there, right? So the most important part of our Amway business is the dream and the commitment, right? And we've know so many people, maybe we've been like this ourselves, really good at showing the plan, all the practical stuff, but don't really have the commitment, don't really have the dream. So if you've got the dream and the commitment, you'll make it, right? Whatever happens in here, you don't have to be perfect in here. All right, and because it's a wind up, we've got to focus now, right? But it's a wind up here with one more very quick PowerPoint, just to show you a couple of things about that we feel strongly about commitment. Okay. Oh, I've got to get that off. Sorry, stop the share. I've got that. Otherwise, that blocks it for some reason. Okay. Oh yeah, that's it. Yeah, okay. So I've got to share. Sorry, forgot to share. Haven't I? We won't do that. Okay, so this is no, one of my hobbies is sailing. I don't do enough of it anyway, but a very, very famous successful yachtsman, British yachtsman, a chap called Alex Thompson, and his dream was to sail around the world by himself alone on a yacht race called the Vendée Globe. It's 28,000 miles altogether. All right, and so he prepared for 10 years to take part in this race, and he needed a lot of sponsors and everything, so he had to prove himself to them as well that he's worth their money. So anyway, in 2004 he took off and the boom on his boat broke and punctured the deck, and he had to give up. So he tried again in 2006. 2006, 1,500 miles off the south of Cape Town, his keel fell off and he had to be rescued by another famous sailor called Mike Golding. Okay, so he didn't make it. Then in 2008, just at the beginning, he didn't even start, he was hit by a fishing boat, right? And so, many people have said, oh, dear, I don't know, somebody up there doesn't want me to be in this race. He started again, and in 2012-13, he participated in that race. He got all the way around, and he came third in that race. And he said, I have sailed this boat at 100%. And there was never a moment when I thought I wouldn't finish. So many people would have said, oh, goodness, and he kept going. 10 years hard work, building up to that bit, the first race. And then 2004, 2012, 8 years, 3 times he couldn't make it. But I wonder how many of us in the business actually have this level of belief and commitment where we say to ourselves, there is never going to be a moment when I don't think I can make it. Well, I wouldn't finish. This is a classic example of commitment, right? And Goethe, if you know, the philosopher, he talks about commitment. He says, the moment one definitely commits oneself, and then providence moves too. Once you commit yourself, all sorts of things occur to help one that would never otherwise have occurred. And many people, including us, have actually felt that when you make a firm commitment, somehow things start to happen that were not happening before. And this man is Soichiro Honda. He's the founder of the Honda Motor Company, passed away, but a wonderful man, a very paternalistic man in his in his company. And he would invite his top salesman to a convention every year. And one year he invited up this top salesman, #1 in the country, and there were several hundred, I guess, salesmen out there in the audience. And Soichiro Honda said, well, would you talk to them, about what you've been doing and why you're so successful? So this guy on the stage said, yes, sure, certainly I will. And he told them everything, all the tricks of trade, all his secrets, and he held nothing back. And at the end of the day, at the end of his speech, Soichiro Honda came up and said to him, well, that was really nice. Thanks very much indeed. You told everybody everything you were doing. Aren't you scared of any competition? And he said, no, I don't think, most of them won't do it. And that is the key to the Amway business. That is absolutely, because you see, every single one of us, after 2-3 months in the business, if we're a bit serious, we know what to do. We know what to do, all right? Those 10 points, we now know what to do. The only question is, we're going to do it, right? And a lot of people won't, but it's a simple business, and the only unknown quantity is us. We know about Amway, we know history, heritage, background, Rich and Jay, the products, everything. The only unknown quantity is us. So thanks for the opportunity, Mauricio, to talk to you. I appreciate it. A great privilege as always. And I hope it's been useful in some way.
It's definitely been very useful. Thank you very much. I've been sitting here listening to you, listening to your knowledge and experience. I just want to ask you guys a very quick question. How long have you guys been building the Amway business for now?
10 years in Japan and 27 years here. So altogether 37 years, I think.
1984.
37 years. I just want to ask everyone in here a quick question, just for you to think and to have a perspective. Do you think that if for a year you do whatever activity, dancing, I don't know, whatever activity, how good do you think you would be after 1 year of doing something passionately? Probably very good. Imagine how good would you be after 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. I just want you guys to have into perspective that in front of you tonight, you had a couple who have passionately been building the Amway business. And I would probably dare to say every single day of their lives for the past 37 years, they've had Amway in their minds. And the one thing that I learned listening to Hinako and Paul was that something that I usually tell you: our business is not rocket science. Every single thing that they said is so simple, and I know they make it sound simple because that's our job as leaders, to show that our business is simple. But the only question, guys, is not about secrets, because Paul was talking about online courses and every single thing that's trending nowadays, and that so many times as ABOs we're looking for the secret, and we go to YouTube and go to the Amway India, Amway China, Amway Japan, Amway whatever, to look for the secret and the magic and whatever new activity that some successful ABO is talking about. And ever since we started the Amway business, Diana and I, and Paul talked about this, we saw the simplicity of the Amway business, and we had enough patience and belief. Patience, because our business is not a trend as the fidget spinners or whatever. Our business works for the simple reason that people have to use our sort of products, and we are patient enough to believe that one person can, instead of using Fairy Liquid, they can use these drops, and that if we can serve this customer right, and that if we can probably make money and have a success story, and to believe in myself that I can do that tomorrow and the day after and the day after, and maybe, listen to this, I'm going to be closing up very shortly, and maybe believe that this month I can make 200 to 500 pounds with the Amway business. Is that going to be making me a millionaire? No, but just stop here for a second and think, how much money do you have to have in an investment in order to make probably £500 a month? I would probably, say that £100,000 in a property to get £500, income. And that's exactly what you're building in the Amway business. And if you learn to do the simple things in a simple and duplicatable manner, those 200 to 500 pounds that you made, you build a system to follow up on your customers. And then the following generation of ABOs, you can go look at them in the eyes and tell them, I can teach you how to make 200 to 500 pounds because I've done that. And that's what Paul and Hinako have done. Simple things repeatedly with passion, with belief, and with patience. So thank you very much, guys. You are such a huge inspiration. And I learned that, and this is something that my parents, were telling me all the time. Watch who you are with. Watch who you're learning from, because that's where you're going to become. And that for the last few years, I look at you and that you guys are a huge inspiration. Obviously, yes, you guys have built a successful Amway business that will last through generation, not only for your children, but your grandchildren. And this is huge, but also you guys are such an example, the way that you've built your family, the way that you do every single thing. So you guys are integral. The way that you look after yourselves, it is fantastic. So thank you very much for spending some time with us. I'm really, really glad I recorded this. So, so that I can show these simple things that you guys were teaching us, because this is the business. Simple, easy, in a repeated manner. So just want to share with you the next few events that we're going to be having. I did have the presentation. It's here now. I'll share this video later. Okay, Thursday, we're going to be having an event open for customers and ABOs. This is from the Amway Academy. So this is 7 p.m. UK time this Thursday, the 15th September. It is going to be focused on sports nutrition for active people. So if you know anyone who's sportsy, anyone who has questions about sports nutrition, if your business focus is sports nutrition or nutrition, I would very much recommend this session. This trainer, Daryl Coley, he's very good. I've actually heard him twice now. He is so knowledgeable. He's so good. He speaks, I think he's English. So obviously he speaks very well, and he's very well at transmitting his knowledge. So massively recommended. As I said, is open to customers as well. And on next Tuesday, we're not going to be having our own business training, because as you know, every time that Amway Academy has an event on a Tuesday, we promote this event instead. So next Tuesday, we're going to be having Christian Siriani, our beauty trainer and consultant, talking about the Go Vibrant lipsticks. So once again, it's an event open for ABOs and customers. So that's next Tuesday. We're not going to be having our own meeting, because we're going to be promoting and attending the Amway Academy product training open to customers and ABOs. And also, as you know, this has been such a massive boom to our business. Personally, we were waiting for this product so much, and it is much better than we ever expected. Also, Amway has created so much material, so many really nice pictures and videos around these products, so that you can share in social media and with your customers one-on-one. If you haven't tried it, I massively recommend you guys do. What a wonderful, fantastic products Amway has developed. And also, we are currently running a promotion focused on immunity. So all our immunity products are included. So garlic, vitamin D, zinc, balance within probiotics for adults, and immunity support for children. If you buy any two of them, you'll be getting a free case, a full case of our immunity excess, which is worth £29, completely free for you and for your customers. So make sure that you go promote it and that you make the most of it. Also, Also the continue to run the £5 discount for customers who register themselves. So very, very good to continue to promote. So having said that, thank you very much, Paul and Hinako. Thank you very much for being here, for sharing your knowledge, for being an inspiration to all of us. So continue winning, continue being healthy, continue being active, continue dreaming, and hopefully, fingers crossed, I'm going to be able to go to Rhodes and spend some time with you. We don't know yet if we're going to be going because of our baby. So, you know, fingers crossed, we'll see if we can make it. And for the rest of you, we are in qualification mode for Portaventura. Next year is going to be a family trip. So definitely we are going to be there with our baby, our growing family. So thank you ever so much, guys. We love you, respect you, and wish you the very, very, very best. Simple daily activities, baby steps, with the belief and the patience that you can make things happen. If somebody else has done it, I am no less than anybody. I've got this opportunity, I believe in the products, and I can gain the skills just on a daily basis, simple activities. Thank you very much, guys, and we'll see you again next week. Thank you. God bless.
Thanks a lot. Take care.
Thank
Bye
you.
bye. Thanks a lot.
Everybody.
Bye bye.
Bye bye. Thank you, Mauricio. Thank you, Diana. Bye bye. Good night. Thank you, everybody.